Dynamic or runtime polymorphism is nothing but the form of the entity, that means the behavior of the method is going to be decided in the runtime. So what we can say, the form of the entity. So here form of the entity is nothing but in our programming context it is behavior entity is decided at runtime, decided at runtime. So how do we implement this dynamic polymorphism? We can implement this dynamic polymorphism with method overriding technique. Method overriding technique. So how we can implement this dynamic polymorphism with method overriding technique? So what is method overriding? As the definition, we can define about method overriding like it method overriding is a process of redefining the superclass member method in subclass. Here the definition you need to remember very clearly. Definition you need to remember. So what is method overriding? It is a process of redefining the superclass member method in subclass. So like this we need to define about the overriding. So by observing this statement or this definition, what we can understand here, to do the method overriding, it is compulsory that we should have inheritance. How can we say that we need inheritance? Because here what we are saying, superclass member method in subclass. So what we are doing the superclass member method in subclass, we are redefining. That means the same method exactly whatever is presented in the superclass, that one we are going to change the definition in subclass. So the superclass member method definition in the superclass, the method would have some definition, but the same method will be redefined again in the subclass. Means the body of the method only will be changed, but the return type, return type, the number of parameters or name of the method, means return type and signature should be same, just like in the superclass. In subclass also it should be same. Hmm? So what you can say, the method name, parameters and return type must be, return types must be same in all overriding methods. Means you may be writing 5 copies of same method in a superclass and subclass and the other subclass and furthermore subclass, or you may be writing two versions, one in superclass and one in subclass only. uh, Anytime the superclass means the original copy, where the original copy of the overriding method or initial copy of the overriding method will be presented in a superclass. The return type of the method and and method name and parameters, all the three complete signature of the method should be same in superclass and subclass both. That is what the point we need to remember about dynamic polymorphism implementing through method over riding. Is it clear, guys? The definition, if the definition is clear, I'll show you the example. Yeah, guys, is the definition clear? Yeah, Sai is okay. Yeah, Vishnath, Teza, Shivangi. Yeah, Vishnath. Okay. So what I'm saying here is method overriding. Method overriding is what? It is a technique to implement the dynamic polymorphism. And as a definition, what we can say about method overriding? The method overriding is a process of redefining the superclass member method in subclass. In method overriding, what do? We will be rewriting or redefining the superclass member method in subclass. The same method would be presented in the parent class and child class, superclass and subclass. So here with this, what we need to understand: to do the method overriding, inheritance is compulsory, and while doing the method overriding, the superclass has some method, the method return type, method name, and the parameters that we are specifying in the method definition all together means complete signature should be same in the parent class and child class, means superclass and subclass. So that's about the definition of method overriding. Yeah, Vishnath, is it clear? Is it clear, guys? Yeah, okay. Now let us see this method overriding programmatically. How do we implement method overriding? Let's come to methods, means programs. So here in dynamic polymorphism, what are the classes? So to do the method overriding, what we need? We need inheritance. Inheritance is compulsory. Without inheritance, method overriding is not possible. Okay, that point you need to remember. So let us take our inheritance example, what we have discussed in our previous class. So in our inheritance example, what are the class hierarchy that we have? Tell me, guys, what are the classes that we have in our class hierarchy? What is the superclass, and what is the subclass for that, and what is the another subclass for that, like that? So what is our inheritance example, and what are the classes are there in our inheritance example? Yeah, guys, you can type here in the chart window. Yeah, customer. Yeah, the parent class is person. Under the person, what you have? You can have customer. And what is the other class that we have? What is the another subclass? Yesterday also we have discussed, right? Yeah, employee. So for that employee, again you have like a part-time means contract employee, like that we have. Okay. Now let us see that example. Let's take that example and let's write the code. So instead of copying the code, I'll type the code once again. So in our hierarchy, which should be the parent class, the person, right? Take the person class, generate comments, string name. In the person class, what are the properties that we need? String name, int age, char, gender. Then what are the methods we need? Void. What is the method that we need here, guys? Yeah, tell me. Which method should I write?
Set details.
Yeah, Shivangi, Teja, Vishnu. What's the method I should type? Shivangi, set details. Yeah, actually in the person, what are the methods, the standard methods that we have written? Set person details and get person details, right? So set person details we have written and get person details. But instead of set person details, can I give the name as set details or not? We can give, right? So, right, set details. Instead of saying set person details, I am saying it as set details. And what are the parameters I should write? String and int a char z, char g, and the code is name equals to n, age equals to a, gender equals to g. Like this we can have. And what is the other method that we can have? Get person details we need to write, right? So instead of get person details, let us give the name as get details. Hmm? So void get details. How many parameters I should write or I should take in the get details method? No parameters, zero parameters. We don't require any parameters for getter method. For setter method, we need parameters. So for getter method, we don't need any parameters. Yeah, nothing. So here, what is the code we should write? We know, right? This out name, name, this out age, age, this out gender, gender. Right? Like this we can write. So this is simple person class we have written, and in the person class, instead of set person details, set details I have written. Instead of get person details, I have written get details. So simple basic parent class we have created, or super class we have created. Now these are common code statements which would be repeated in all other subclasses. That's why we are keeping this in the parent class, and in the subclasses we don't try to repeat this code again. We don't need to repeat this code again. Instead, we are going to inherit these methods and attributes from this superclass to our subclasses. So let's write a subclass. So what is our subclass that we need now is, let us say, class employee. In the employee, what are the fields that we need to have? Simply, if we write a class employee, it can't be a person. We should establish the relation. How? Extends person. Now employee becomes subclass for person, and a relation between employee and person is a relation. Is a relation would be there from employee to person. Why? Because in generic terms, in generic English, if you want to read it out, you can say employee is a person, you can tell, but you can't tell bus is a person. Why? Because bus is a vehicle, right? So that kind of common observation should be there whenever we are writing our classes. Now, in the employee class, what are the attributes that I need? Yeah, just list out in the chart window. In the employee class, what are the members I need to write, guys? Yes, EID. Next, salary we need. Yes, and of course, right now itself, without writing in a single address also we require. So right now, without writing any single line of statement, line of code in our employee class, we could have means we have access to all parent members like name, age, and gender, set details and get details. Along with that, we need some extended properties for the employee. What are that like? Int EID, string, sorry, float, salary, and string address we can have. Now, here, what are the methods we need to write, guys? List out. I am continuing on the same classes. Why? Because you can understand how the changes will come, or how code can be transformed into different formats in our application to optimize the application performance and usage. Yeah, here what are the methods we need? We need set employee details. Next, what is the other method that we need? What's the other method we need, Sai or Vishnu, Teja? Get employee details. So set employee details and get employee details we need. Yes. So instead of writing like set employee set employee details and get employee details, I will write, yes, exactly, set details. So void set details. But how many parameters I need here in set details method? How many parameters I need? Not method overriding, in normal case only. Just let's go in the normal flow only. You will understand method overriding when it will come. Total 6 we need, right? Yeah, Shivangi. Total 6 we need. Why? Because employee details, setting employee details means we need to set the name of the employee, age of the employee, gender of the employee, salary of the employee, ID of the employee, and address of the employee. Everything we need to set. So 6 parameters we need. Just like our as usual regular program only. String and int a, char z, int I, float sal, or port s, and string string a d d cos. Already we have written the code over there, but the inputs, whenever we are storing the employee details, we have to take the inputs for all these things, right? See, just uh, compare this every object of this employee or person or customer as an application form. So in the application forms, while we are collecting the data of the employee, we will collect all the things or not as the input from the user. So we need here, but how come that reusability will come here? Instead of writing name equals to n, so where the advantage will come? Parameters are local to the method, not class members, right? Here we have to take. So this what is the actual code we need to write? If inheritance is not there, we need to write name equals to n, age equals to a, gender equals to g, EID equals to I, salary equals to S, and address equals to ADDR. That one we need to write if inheritance is not there. But as we are extending here, what you can do, instead of writing these 3 lines of code, you can call the parent class method, inherited method. What? Set details, name, age, gender. This one we can do because of extends person, but you can't omit this. You can ignore this, but how to take the values for that, right? That's why we are taking this. Otherwise, you need to call set details method from the person uh, using employee object. That is, always you need to pass different parameters over this. But with extending or with inheritance, what is the advantage? The parameters won't be changed, but you can remove the member variables attributes or fields declaration you can remove, and instead of writing 3 assignment statements, you can make a single call to the parent class method or super class method like set details. Is it clear, guys? It is required that here all the 6 parameters in the method. Yeah, guys. Teja or Vishnu, is it clear for you also, or do you have any doubts here? You also have any doubts? Yeah, Teja, Shivangi, Sai. Now is it clear why we need 6 parameters here? And hmm? Even though we are extending here, set details means our intention is to collect inputs for employee object, where employee objects inputs are completely, so in total 6 parameters or 6 values we need to take. That's why we are calling defining set details with 6 parameters. But inside the code, of course, this one yesterday we have seen in inheritance, right? So we should give set details. Actually, I didn't understand what you meant here. We, sh- we should give set details, name, age, and gender. Yes, in class employee method. Yes, we need to do. That's what. If we don't write this one, what happens for name and age and gender? The assignment will not happen, so that there will be null values or blank values will be there. Don't do this. Without inheritance, what we had to do, we have to assign the values individually, right? If inheritance is not there, we had to assign the values like name equals to n, age equals to a, and gender equals to g. Like this we had to write. But because of inheritance, we can avoid that code which is already presented all these three statements in the person class. So where that three statements are presented in person class, we are written that code in set details, so we are calling this one. Okay guys, after that, what are the specific properties extended in the employee class? EID, salary, and address, right? So for that, we don't have any existing code in the person class for EID, salary, address. That are employee specific properties. So we need to write its specific code here while assigning. So in the similar way, so here if you observe in superclass and subclass, this is the superclass set details method. This is subclass set details method, right? Both methods are having the same name or not? Yes, right? But parameters, how many number of parameters are there in the subclass definition? How many number of parameters are there in the superclass definition? 3, right? So what that means? It is an example for what? Same method name with different parameters. Same method name with different parameters. Parameters are different, right? Yeah, what it is? Yeah, Vishnath, Teja. Same there are more than one method which are having same name but different parameters. What is that? Method, guys. Method overloading. Method overloading, not overriding. Overriding means what? That's why I am saying the definitions whichever I am noting down, or the points whichever I am noting down here in the document, you try to read and remember. That's why I am saying, right, remembering points and understanding points. Whichever are required understanding, there I will tell, try to understand. Whichever are required to remember, there I am saying that try to remember. And even I am suggesting you to by heart also, there is nothing wrong, because these are the basics which we need to remember to understand the further concepts. Okay guys, be clear. Same method name we have for two methods, but number of parameters are different. Here 6 are there, here 3 are there. Just like in our addition class, here two same method name add, but here two parameters, here three parameters. In the similar way, in person set details method we have three parameters. In the same person class hierarchy employee, we have set details with six parameters. That means it is overloading. Is it clear guys? The definitions we need to remember. Not the overwriting. Of course, now we are discussing overriding concept, but what we have typed till now, we have typed overloading example only. step by step I am coming. Initially I have written the simple person class, then I have written the subclass, and in that I am writing the I have written the overloading method. Okay. But that's what. To be clear, try to remember the points. Generally, what we think, if we practice more, means if we write more programs, we will be having a good knowledge on the programming. That is, of course, correct. But before that, when we are learning the basics, we have to focus more on theory. Theory points we need to remember. And when you are working on the advanced frameworks, like frameworks, advanced topics like Spring or Hibernate or services, means web services, these kind of things, there your practice is more required. More practice means programming practice is required there. Why? Because there are so many configuration things which should be very familiar for us. There more practicing is required. uh, Here more theory understanding is required. Theory understanding is nothing but, in my point of view, theory points memory, remembering theory points, that is required. Okay guys, your learning approach should be like that. Right now we are learning the basics, so focus more on theory and try to remember theory points, whatever we are noting down. Try to remember, read out all that notes, whatever I am typing here. Of course, anyhow, our notes is very not very uh, big notes or very long descriptions. All are short, simple terms notes I am giving. Easily you can remember. Just go through it for daily for 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, not more than enough. All the notes you try to read from the beginning, so that all these points you will be remembering. Then while we are working in advanced topics, you can understand or you can know what we are doing. Okay. If we are not remembering the basic points, we will be confused. Hmm? Okay guys, try to follow that guideline, understand, remembering the theory, and working more on the programs will give you expertise. Of course it is true, but it will be, that approach is suitable when you are learning the frameworks. Okay guys, now what is the next method that we need to write in employee, guys? Yeah, quickly type quickly. What is the other method that we need to write in the employee class? Yes, yes, Krishna, you're true. You're right. Get details we need to write. So, how do we write? Void get details. So, how many parameters we need to give in the get details? Yes, I get details we need to write. How many parameters we need in the get details? Yeah, quick. Get details. Get details is nothing but get employee details, right? Yeah, zero parameters. Yes, you are right, Vishnu. Get details. So for setting only we need inputs. For getting, we don't require any inputs, right? So zero parameters. In get details, always it is zero parameters. Hmm? Yeah, good. So what is the code I should write here? Yesterday we have seen, right, the same. That's why, because I am going on the same classes for every example. You can relate and you can easily understand. From the previous examples you can uh, proceed easily. That's why I'm taking the same classes like person, employee and all. So here in the get details, what are the lines I need to write? Can you type in the chart window? I'll type that in the code. Anybody can type. Even you can refer your previous code. Sys out. What I should write? Sys out for employee name. Yeah. Yes, Teja. We need to write what name. Hmm. Name. Yes. Next. Sys out. Hmm. Age. Age. Yes. Sys out. Gender. Yes. Employee ID also we need to write. Employee ID. EID. Sys out. Salary. Salary. Next. Sys out. Address. Yes. Address we need to write. Like this, we can write the get details. But if we write like this, all the six statements six output statements, is it meaningful? Means, is it any meaning that we are saying we are using inheritance? When we are using inheritance, we should not write the redundant code, right, guys? Instead of this, what we should do? Hmm. What we should do instead of this? To print name, age, and gender, already we have written the code in person class, right? You can refer our previous example and you can analyze and you can tell answer. Yeah, use get details method of person, right? Yes, Shivangi, it's right. We need to use the get details method of person, right? This is what we are doing, right? Get person details we have called in the inheritance example, right? Get, yes, person dot get details. But person is a superclass of employee, right? Whenever it is superclass method, do we need to have object for the superclass? We don't require, right? So without person or person object, you can write directly, you can call get details method. You need not to create a person object in the child class. In the child class, do we require to create object for the super class? We don't require, right? Directly we can call all that methods. So see here also what we have done, set details directly we have called, right? In the similar way, get details also directly we can call. There is no need of creating any object for the superclass. Yes, understood, guys? The points only here. What I am observing is you are not rewinding that notes and you are not trying to remember the points, guys. Please try to remember the points so that our topics will be easier. These are very basic, just like alphabets. So we need to remember alphabets of the language. If it is English, 26 alphabets are there that we need to remember. Then only we can construct the words and statements and paragraphs. The same approach we should apply here also. We need to remember all the basic points what we are learning in the classes right now. Maximum things are related to memory as of now. Okay, guys, get details we need to call. But if I do like so here, what happens? If I do like so here, what actually I am intending here? What is my intention here? Here I want to call get details method from person class. I am calling get details method from person class, right? Now let us write the main method, and here you observe what we have done. In subclass I am writing void get details. In the person class also, what I have method void get details, the return type, method name, and number of parameters. How many parameters are there in the super class? Yeah, how many parameters are there in the super class get details method? How many parameters are there in the get details method of super class, guys? Zero, right? No parameters are there. Get details here. Get details, Shivangi. Yes, Tejo, zero. Yeah, no params. Yeah. In the similar way, how many parameters are there in the get details method of employee class means subclass? Here also we have how many parameters? Zero parameters only, right? No parameters we have. That means what? We can say here get details method we are redefining in the child class, in the subclass. Get details method already presented there in the super class with the signature like void get details zero parameters. The same thing we are writing here in the subclass also, void get details zero parameters. So that is what we are saying as method overriding. That's what we are saying as method overriding, redefining the superclass method in subclass. So the method name, parameters, and return type must be same in all overriding methods. Here, how many copies of get details method we have? Two copies. One is in the superclass person, and the other one is in the subclass employee. In both places we have get details. In both places the return type, the name, and the parameters all are the same, right? Yeah, now you understood, right? Yeah, Sai. Yeah, good. So this is what we are calling as method overriding. So now we are discussing what is method overriding, how we are implementing the method overriding. Is it clear, guys? Yeah, Vishnath, Teja? Yes. Now let us write the application class. User class let us write, where we are using the person or employee class objects. So let us say company, where we need to collect all the data of the employees or persons in the company, right? And in the company all the operations would take place. That's why I am writing main method also in the company class. Now here how we can write? Person P equals to new person, and employee E equals to new employee. In the similar way you can write the code in customer class also. In customer also you can write the code as uh, set employee set customer details and get customer details. We have, instead of writing set customer details and get customer details, we can write as set details and get details. That also I'll show. Now p dot set details. Kiran 29 m. In the similar way, e dot set details. In employee, how many parameters are there? 6 we have, right? E dot set details. Name Kalyani, 25, F ID 1001, salary 2000, address Bangalore. Like this. So now what happens? Set details method. How many copies of the set details methods that we have? One is in person with 3 parameters. One is in employee with 6 parameters, right? While calling the methods, from the method call, means for every method call there should be method binding, method definition binding, right? From this method call, which copy of the method will be getting executed? Yeah, the salary is F. Okay, so from the from this method call, which copy of the method is going to be executed? Yeah, just tell me guys, which copy of the method of set details will be getting executed in this highlighted statement? Yeah, Sai, Vishnath. Yeah, from person class. Yes, Shivangi. Yes, Sai. From person class. How could you say that it is from person class? Because of P. Mm-hmm. But what is the thing that we need to observe? Even, yeah, assume that if I remove this, now in this, because of 3 parameters. If I don't write the person or P or E, simply if I write like this, how many arguments I am passing here? 3 arguments. Where do we have the 3 arguments matching parameters method? In person class, based on the arguments. Hmm, based on the arguments we can decide, right? We don't require this reference. Without reference also, based on the arguments that we have passed over there, we can decide. And here we have 6 arguments passed. So based on the number of parameters, it can be decided that it should be invoked from either person class or employee class. How it is deciding? Based on parameters and arguments matching. Now come next, what we need to do? We need to display the details, right? How to display the details? What is the method we have to display the details? Yeah, guys, tell me. To display the details, get details method. Yes, Shivangi. Yeah, sys out we can write that is optional, but already yes, I. We have get details method, right? Like this, we need to write. Now tell me from which class it is going to be executed. Now tell me from which class or which copy of the get details method it's going to be executed. Can you tell? Employee class? How can you assure that it is from employee class? Here or here? To ensure that what you need, to ensure that it is going to be executed from uh, employee class, we need to write what in our code. What we should do? We need to write e dot get details. Yeah, we have initialized the object, but we have to associate that method call with object. Yes, calling from object we should do. So here, see, if the object reference is not specified here, by looking at the parameters, can you tell from which class it is getting executed? No, right? So this set details method is example for method overloading. These are overloaded methods, right? And get details method is example for overriding. So now how we are using, you just observe. Before we understood how to create overriding methods here in get details. Now we are trying to understand how this said overriding method is getting used or is being used in our user classes. We need to use the object reference. Without object reference, we can't decide or we can't say which class method copy of get details is getting executed in which statement that we have written here. It is compulsory that to decide which copy of this method get details should be executed from either person class or employee class, to decide that this object reference is must, right? Have understood, guys, the point what I'm trying to say here? Yeah, guys, based on arguments you can't say. Why? Because in both places zero arguments you have passed, method name is same, but only the way to decide which copy of the method means which behavior of the method would come here in this statement execution or in this statement execution means the form of the get details method is decided based on the object reference. Yeah, guys, is it clear? Are you understanding? Are you following? Or anything is confusing or need to repeat? Understanding, right? In case of overriding methods usage, object plays a key role. The object reference plays a key role. Based on that object reference, it will be decided. Means even JVM also during the compilation itself, here for this overloading methods invocations, the method definitions will be binded. But for overriding methods calls, the binding does not happen at compilation time by JVM. JVM also bind the methods definitions for this overriding methods at a runtime based on this object reference. Why we are saying it is runtime? Because objects are runtime entities which will be created dynamically when the objects are getting created during the compilation time or runtime. Yeah, tell me, guys, when the objects are getting created, objects are runtime entities which will be created at runtime, not at the compile time. Is it clear, guys? Because we are deciding or depending on the objects which are runtime entities, we can say it is dynamic polymorphism. Method overriding is dynamic polymorphism. Why we are saying method overriding is dynamic polymorphism? Because the behavior of the entity would be decided based on the referencing, object reference using which we are calling that method. That's why we call it as dynamic polymorphism. Yeah, Shivangi, Sai, have you understood? Yes, guys. Yeah, Teja, it's all clear for you also, right? Yeah, yeah, fine. Now let us run and observe the outputs. So points are clear, right? The concept is clear, right? How to create overriding methods? Basically, what is the definition of the overriding? How to create the methods? And what is the condition that we need to have to do overriding? And how to write the overriding methods? And how to use the overriding methods? 4 points. The definition, what is overriding, and the condition that we need to remember. What is the condition? We need to have inheritance. Without inheritance, overriding is not possible. And then how to write the overriding methods in superclass and subclass. Next, how to use it using object reference. We need to do these 4 points are clear, right? If it is clear, we can run the program and see the outputs and observe the outputs and discuss some other points. Okay. Okay, guys, shall I run? I'm running. You see, you got the exception. See, employee, it has printed Kiran, means the values it has printed. Later, it is saying exception in employee get details. Here it is giving you exception. Why? Why, guys? Here we have written some pointer. You just see, here I want to call get details method from person class, but it is going to the same method invocation again and again. it it has become a recursive method call. Recursive functions we have, right? Recursive method means invoking the same method from the definition of the, means invoking the same method from its own definition, right? So same name, of course we need to have same name only. Why? Because we are doing overriding. But in our example, we are invoking the same, means get details without as it is the parent class method, we don't require object. Directly we can call it like this. If we do like this, what happens? It will become a recursive call. It will become a recursive call, and it will going into infinite loop, and it will give you like this exception. So here, what is the conflict? We have one scenario like superclass method and subclass method. Superclass member and subclass member both are having the same name. In these kind of scenarios, to mitigate or to resolve this conflict, what we can do? We can use the super keyword. We can use the super keyword. You understood, right? What is the problem and what is the solution for that problem? I have shown you the problem and I am giving you the solution now. Now the super keyword, we have several modifiers. 11 modifiers are there in the uh, Java language. So among that, one modifier is super modifier. Super modifier resolves the name conflict between superclass and subclass. Now if you write like a super, then what it is? It is equivalent to p dot get details. So p means person, right? Person dot get details, it is equivalent to person dot get details. It will become. Okay guys, have understood the requirement for super and how we are using the super keyword. Super keyword is used to refer to the superclass object and invoke the superclass members in subclass. See, if I don't write super keyword here, what happens? I face this problem. It will become recursive method call in the employee class, and it will infinitely calling the get details method itself again and again. So that's why we get this exception. So to overcome this in Java, what we have? We have a keyword called super. We have a keyword called super. Super keyword is there. So super keyword resolves this problem. What it means actually? Super means, super is the keyword which is used to refer to the superclass object from subclass. Or if at all, if you have same names for superclass members and subclass members, that may be variable names or method names, whatever it may be, if you have, then to resolve that problem or to resolve that conflict, you can use the super keyword. Is it clear guys? Yeah, Vishnath, Teja. Now run the application and see the output. You got the output right now. Now, right? See name Kalyani, age 25. Now employee details, it is printing. Here person details, p dot get details. So here, if you observe, same method you are calling, same parameters you are passing, but based on the context, using which object reference you are calling, the different behavior is changing. Here it is showing or printing only 3 lines of output. Here it is showing 6 lines of output, right? That means same method, different behaviors. That is what we are saying polymorphism. Is it clear guys? Yeah guys, is it clear? Yeah, yeah, this is what